Hi, everybody, and welcome to Percentile Vice. I'll be your keeper this evening, Emily, and that's Steve and John and Hannah. And we are playing the next episode of Laughing at the Wind, this chapter of The Children of Cthulhu. John, give us our recap for last week.
Well, before he left out, Bernard was writing a nice letter to Dr. Pepper. Dearest Veruca, we have started our journeys by going to Egypt, and we are soon to be off again for Hidalgo, Mexico. The corporate guy in charge had a spy named Sparrow that we ran into, and she was very forthcoming with information with us. She let us know that there are multiple headquarters around the world, and the chairman for NAFRM come from these places, and two of the sites were supposedly closed. The ones in Morocco and Egypt, if you recall, is where we've already been. There apparently is a CEO called Steele that no one there has seen, or at least our operative on the inside had never seen, and they apparently remote in, and nobody even knows if they're a man or a woman, or possibly even a boy or a girl or a squirrel.
Period. New paragraph.
New paragraph. All one run-on sentence.
Our new friend Kara seems a little troubled by something, but I'm not sure what. Just every now and then we'll pass, and she seems like there's something really on her mind, but she's not elaborating with us, so I guess we'll figure it out at some point, or she'll deal with it however she sees fit. We're headed to Hidalgo, to Tula, or Toulon, as you might know it, and hopefully we'll be able to get to the bottom of whatever they're doing there. Faithfully yours, Bernard.
Faithfully.
P.S. Bernard didn't seal the envelope. What an idiot. Hey, Dr. Pepper, Bernard wants to kiss you. Seal it.
So she's going to get a real kick out of that when she reads it, because she is normally my wingman at the bar. We're both into girls.
Nice. Okay, so on that strange note.
It's not my fault he didn't seal the envelope.
You took the opportunity. It's nothing you can do.
Wait till he looks at the pictures on his phone.
Jesus. All right, so we awake in the morning that you guys are flying out to Hidalgo. And plane is set to be ready to go at your discretion. It's waiting at a private landing strip. There is car to take you there whenever you're ready to go. Mr. Statham is away on business this morning. Something about some clerical issue that he's got to go deal with, nothing major, but he was out and about long before you guys got up. So you guys have the morning to do with what you please. And when you're ready to head out to your private jet to head to Hidalgo, you may.
So Bernard takes out his phone and unlocks it, and he's intending on checking his emails and whatnot because it's tax season and he's waiting on his W-2 from the university to come in so he can file. And the first thing that pops up, I imagine, is a very small shrunken Peter with a badge next to it. And he's like, "Damn it, Nathaniel! Keep your hands off my phone."
Roll for sanity. I'm kidding.
I passed.
Okay, good. Seeing a lot of shrunken wieners.
Mostly in the mirror.
So what are y'all doing with your morning? Are you guys heading straight out to...
I'm going to check my equipment, go over it all one last time, make sure the gun's clean, ready to go. Guns are cleaned and ready to go. Ops check my surveillance gear, make sure it's all working, batteries are charged, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, shit.
Okay. Kara, what are you doing?
She is also just going to run through everything, make sure she has everything. And then she is going to...
Do it.
She's going to send a text to Alex that says, "Hope you're okay. Call me when you get the chance." Sends it.
Okay. You watch for a while to see if that message turns from whatever color iPhones change from red to unread. I don't have an iPhone. I don't know the colors that it goes from. And for a while, nothing. But then it does change to show that it's been read. And you see a text bubble start to pop up as something is loading.
Mm-hmm.
And you see 3 severed fingers in a picture.
Okay.
Roll for sanity. And I mean it this time.
Yep. Uh-huh. Where is it? That's a failure.
Okay, you take 1 point of sanity loss.
Oh, yep. 1 is generous. Thank you.
Anything else that you're doing, Kara? Any other text messages you want to send?
No.
Okay.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Bernard, what are you doing with your morning other than checking your emails and looking at pictures of tiny wieners?
Based on the advice of Veruca Pepper, my colleague, who was an archaeologist and worked in the Mexico area for some time, I am going to be getting things like mosquito nets and other region-specific necessities to protect us from like the bugs and things like that.
Okay, gotcha.
And possibly like a really good lotion.
Okay.
Maybe get my other archaeology tools sort of together just in case, you know.
I gotcha. All right. Anything else that you guys want to do? You want to pack? You want to bring? Anything like that? No?
I want to pack my Desert Eagle.
Well, yeah.
I'll be packing.
Packing. Okay. So, if there's nothing else you'd like to do, then you guys can take the car and go ahead and head out to the private airstrip to board your private jet.
Hey, Gara, you all right? You look a little, geez, I don't know, pensive. Is that the right word there, Prof? Pensive?
No.
She looks pensive.
Maybe.
I'm fine. And then she's just gonna like shift on this private plane where all
Oh, we're
the
in the
seats
car
are, like,
driving to
facing
the
each
plane.
other. She's just gonna like... Oh, okay. Then she's just gonna turn away and look out the window.
Okay.
And
Takes-
Bernard's going to shrug at you and I don't know.
I don't know either, but geez, there's one thing I learned. This woman says fine, it ain't.
Yeah. Hot takes. All right, so it takes about an hour for the car to get you to this private airstrip. And it's a nice private plane, small, not nearly as well fitted as the previous private jet that you've been on, but it's still nice. And you're able to board, and the flight takes all day. By the time you reach your destination, it's well past dark. Real world Emily does not know how long it takes to fly from London to Mexico, but we're just going to say it took all day. And you arrive at a small private airport a couple hours north of Hidalgo. There is a car already waiting for you to drive you to Hidalgo. And the driver tells you that he'll be taking you to the home of Ignacio and that he is expecting you and has provided lodging for the evening and things like that to welcome you to Mexico.
Are there any corporate markings on the car that picks us up, or is there just plain brown wrapper on this thing?
This is a like plain black SUV type thing. Not too top of the line, but it's a good quality. Looks like, it's well to do, just not, brand new Escalade type thing. Not bulletproof, not just nice.
Serious tint on the windows.
Very tinted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Cool. So, what's the driver look like?
Driver is a middle-aged man, dark-skinned, pleasant, smiles quite a bit, seems very happy with what he does, helps you load your luggage. Nothing too standout about him. He's just seems to be like a nice guy.
Okay. Well, I'm just checking him out.
Yeah.
Wouldn't put it past Nafram to intercept us by sending a car here that says, "Hi, I'm here to pick you up."
Right. Okay.
Like they intercepted us on our way to that vacation.
Right.
Technically, they didn't intercept you. They picked you up and dropped you off exactly where they intended you to go. Okay, well, make me some kind of insight type thing, psychology, something to that
I'm
effect.
going to do a psychology roll.
Okay.
That is a failure.
Yeah, as far as you can tell, he's a simple, nice man. Middle class, working and making ends meet kind of guy. Okay. Anything else before you guys head over to Ignacio's house? No?
No.
All right. It's a quiet drive. It's dark, so it's very hard to see the surroundings, but you're able to see towns passing by, beautiful landscapes, things like that. It's actually quite nice where you're driving through. Very scenic. You arrive at a home that's just outside the outskirts of Hidalgo. It's a very nice, large, stately type home. Not quite as big as Statham Landing, but very... Did I say it wrong again?
I don't know whether you did or not. At this point, I've stopped paying attention. It's just that's the name of a golf course not far from here.
That is true. It is true. But it's very nice, very manicured lawn, kind of the orange brick style home with those like terracotta shingles. It's very, very nice. And as you pull up, a man comes out, and this man seems to be probably about the same age as Statham. He is, or Statham, however I've been saying it, Mr. S. Kind of a heavier set older man, salt and pepper hair. But he comes romping out the house at full speed. And, yes, my friends, come. Enter my home. It's beautiful. I'm like, come on. And he starts helping you with your luggage and getting you inside to a very nice foyer, very colorful, very well appointed. And as soon as you enter the home, there's a couple things you all notice. One, the home smells wonderful. It smells like somebody has been cooking all day. And it's got that aroma of like built up, like stewed kind of foods, and it smells wonderful. And you guys really haven't had great food because, while you're on a private jet, it's still really just peanuts and snack bars, that kind of stuff. But you also notice that there's a lot of activity.
Just for the record, I pocketed a couple of packs of peanuts and snack bars from the plane.
Certainly. There's a lot of activity in the home, even at this time of night when it's 10, 11 o'clock almost. There seems to be a lot of people in this home. There are teenagers, kind of mulling about, and moms that are, reading books or talking or hanging out. There's, elderly women and men who are sitting around having a cocktail, things like that. It seems like it's a very thriving generational home. There are small children that you can see at the top of the stairs looking down over at, the grandpas smoking cigars and having a nightcap. And, a grandma sees and starts shooing them back up to their beds and things like that. It seems like a thriving, bustling, multi-generational home. And go ahead.
Oh man, this food is going to be awesome.
As you get your stuff in, Ignacio stops you and he's like, Bernard, come here. I have heard so much about you. We have a mutual friend at the college you work at. And he starts talking about a gentleman that you know over there by Mr. Sanchez. He's one of the professors. He doesn't teach in the same area of the building of you. I believe he teaches like a Spanish class or something to that effect, but he does know that and, wants to talk to you about it. He's like, but please, all of you, come in and call me Iggy. Don't try to go with Ignacio. It's too much. It's a mouthful. And he kind of looks over at his mother. And he's like, so thank you very much, mother. And he is one of those people who just talks and talks. And finding a word in edgewise with him is just tough every time you try.
So you prefer Iggy and not Nacho?
Yes, Nacho just seems well, it's not a very good nickname, I don't think, at all. I've always just been called Iggy. But as you set your stuff down, like 3 teenage boys who all been summoned by the elderly women come and start grabbing your things and taking them through the back door into the backyard. And Iggy lets you know that he has a mother-in-law suite back there that's kind of like a detached home. Nobody really uses it. They save it for guests, and that you all will be staying there. There's one like queen-size bed and a pull-out couch, and we apologize that he doesn't have more, but you'll have to make do. And ushers you into the kitchen, where you find even more people, and you're beginning to wonder how much family could one person have. There's a lot of middle-aged women who are stewing over pots and making tortillas, and they're making this huge meal that's so late at night. And he ushers you all to a dining table, and you have women coming over and offering you plates of these wonderful, fragrant foods as you all sit down to have what you can decide how good of a meal you think it is. But if you're talking about quintessential good Spanish cooking, this is it. It is all perfectly prepared and spiced, and there's some real hot, spicy dishes in there, which all the ladies make sure you know. If you don't have a strong stomach, stay away from this plate. They've separated it out for you a little bit. But Iggy sits down with you and says, okay, so, I haven't been told why you're here, just that you needed a place to stay, so tell me, what brings you to Hidalgo?
Geez, Mr. Leguizamo, we appreciate your...
Iggy, don't go with formality. We're friends now. Iggy.
Okay, Iggy. Where I'm coming from, you'd probably get a nickname like Iggy Legs or something like that. Ignacio Leguizamo, Iggy Legs. You'd probably be,
That's a good one. I haven't heard that one, but yeah.
Yeah. So Statham sent us over, said you guys were buds from way back and that you would take care of us. We're just, we got some business down in Hidalgo, checking up on some leads.
Yeah, I thought we were going to be asking you what we were here for.
Oh, no, I was told that you were here on behalf of him. You needed a place to stay and possibly somebody to help you around Hidalgo. I'm not really sure what it is you want to see. I mean, if you want to go sightseeing, I can take you. There's some lovely lakes, some great restaurants. The shopping centers is quite nice. There's some,
I hear there's like what do they call it? Like Aztec monument or something, like pyramids around here. I've seen some of this stuff on the History Channel.
Yes, you're talking about Tulan. Yes, it's a very old monument back from the Toltec. It's quite fascinating, actually. I haven't been out there since I was a child. You live around it. You begin to, you don't go visit as much. But yes, no, it's quite nice. I could definitely set you up with like a tour of the grounds. I believe they do tours 3 times a week as of the last time I was in that area. Yeah, I could definitely set you up with a tour of the grounds.
Well, so, this is a beautiful house you got here. And it's all your family? I mean, that's just...
Yes.
I love a big family. It reminds me of my grandmother's house in Queens. And it's just like people knocking each other over to get a noodle in their mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Funnily enough, that's how I got into business. You see, when I was a kid, I didn't want to have, all my family living under the same house. I wanted my brothers to move out and my sisters to move out. I wanted my own space. So I got into real estate. And then none of them wanted to move. So here I am. But no, I mean, it's great. There's always somebody to help with, the yard work and fixing something or cooking something. There's always people about. It grows on you as you get older. I think as a teenager, and, he kind of looks over at the teenage boys who all look just fed up with the amount of people in this house. He's like, as a teenager, you don't quite get how important family is. But when you get to be our age, you want family around. Me and Samuel, we agree, got to have your family around. And Miss Kara, Samuel has told me so much about you. And he speaks very, very well of you. He seemed to be very, very fond of you.
It's Kara. Mr. Iggy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it Kara? Is it Kara? I apologize. We rarely talk through anything other more than letters.
It's Kara, but it's okay. Plenty of people make the mistake.
My apologies. It won't happen again. But yes, he tells me that you're a archaeologist. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I recently got done with Peru at a dig site down there, and now that it's the off season, we've just been doing some stuff for my uncle
Wonderful.
until prime season comes back up again.
Oh, yes, I do understand. And I already know what you do, Mr. Bernard. Like I said, Samuel told me about you because he knew I knew people at your college, your institution. So, but you, Nathaniel, what is it that you do?
Hey, so, Mr. Statham employs me as head of security for traveling ventures.
Oh, very nice, very nice. So, and you said you're from Queens, is that correct?
Yeah, different parts. That's where my grandmother lived, spending a lot of time in Flatbush,
Yes, I've been up in that area of the world before on trips. Very nice, very crowded.
It is, but the great thing is, you walk out your front step, you're 15 feet away from a hot dog, a cup of coffee.
Yeah, but I told my nephew there's an ultimate lack of good Hispanic food up there.
You're just not going to the right areas, man. There's all kinds of little areas of ethnic bursts of flavor. You just got to go to the right areas.
Well, my nephew, he's quite the cook when it comes
There's
to
these
like
street
grilling.
tacos down on 5th, and that just will blow your mind. I think they call them burrilla tacos, and it's like they take the shell and like they dip it in the juice that the meat's been cooking in,
yes,
then they
yes.
you wouldn't believe it.
But I keep telling my
Jeez.
nephew he should go up there and open a proper Mexican restaurant and make some real food and show them, a little more of our culture. But he wants to go off and be a YouTuber or something stupid. I don't know. But
But
yes.
like I said, I can walk out my door and just get about anything, within a few blocks, right? So there, but you've got this beautiful house and lots of land. You must. What do you go into Hidalgo for your supplies, or?
Yeah. So usually once a week or so, one of us will run out or several of us usually will go out and buy supplies. We also have things that are brought in for the estate and things like that, basic supplies and things like that. But we're only about a 30-minute ride from, some of the better shopping areas in Hidalgo. So it's not that far out of our way, no.
I see.
Yes. So aside from Toulon, is there anything else that you guys were wanting to see while in Hidalgo? It's a beautiful place.
Well, I was thinking there's there's some business interests in Hidalgo that I was interested in checking out. I hear the NAFRM Corp has got quite a large setup in Hidalgo.
NAFRM. No,
It's kind of a conglomerate there and a bunch of things. This part of the area of the world would probably be agriculture and shipping kind of stuff.
Well, maybe. I'll have to look into it. I don't keep much up with that kind of stuff. I'm, mostly deal with real estate, but I could definitely I could call a few clients of mine that work in, different business areas, see if they've ever heard of a NAFRM Corp. If you're interested, do you need looking for an interview, or are you looking for
really just kind of doing some market research, Statham asked us to check out the area for possible business interests of his. So,
Certainly.
I guess there's some land or factories we might pick up because it would be, beneficial to his worldwide conglomerate. And I thought, well, I would check out some other likely situated companies and see, what it was that they were in. So, yeah, I'd love to know where their offices are and, where their holdings are, if they've got big farmlands or processing plants or anything like that. Just kind of, discreetly check out the competition. If Mr. Statham wants to open up something here, it'd be nice to know, what the business environment is like.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, tomorrow I can reach out to a couple of my friends and see if anybody's heard of it and see if we can't get you some information about it. Always anything to help Samuel, old friend of mine. But it is getting late. I'm sure you're all very tired. And, like I said, the mother-in-law suite in the back, the gas house is all yours. Help yourself. There is a pool out there. Please help yourself. Anything that we can do for you. And the kitchen's always open. And you guys can tell by the way the house is set up, there's almost like this breezeway through the middle of the home that goes from the very front door to the very back door that connects like the major centers of the home. And it almost is like you could walk through this particular breezeway and not disturb any other portion of the house the way it's kind of designed. That anybody could be in a kitchen or in the living room and not really disturb the other portions of the house. Like it's all very segmented. So, it almost seems like they have like wings of the home, and so where you're staying, and he kind of gestures through the back door, seems to be just off the kitchen's back wall in the backyard. So, he does, let you know, hey, go on up and get some sleep and we'll see you in the morning. I hope you have an appetite because, we love to cook around here and there'll be a big breakfast in the morning as well. There's always plenty of food to go around.
Well, absolutely. Hey, I appreciate your hospitality there, Mr. Iggy, and I could stand to get a little shut eye. It's been a long day.
Yeah. Go on ahead. The boys have already taken your luggage back, so please, go on and get some rest, and we'll see you in the morning. And he excuses himself and heads to the living room to light up a cigar and pour himself a little nightcap to hang out with his brothers and, grandfathers, and they all seem to be just jovially talking. A lot of it's in Spanish. If you speak Spanish, you might be able to pick up a few things. Do any of you speak Spanish?
I do.
Are you choosing?
I do a little bit.
Okay. Are you guys choosing to listen in?
Casually.
Yeah.
Okay. So you hear a lot of talk about different pieces of land that they're apparently bidding on or trying to sell off, things like that. This plot over here. It looks like they're also downsizing the family plot, the area that they live in. They're selling off chunks of land that are on the back quarters of the large piece of land. A lot of ribbing, kind of like how brothers do amongst each other of, I'm going to sell this before you do. It seems like maybe this real estate business is kind of all the brothers kind of work together in this area. But they seem to be talking a lot about business in kind of a competitive way. Well, I sold this last week. Well, yeah, anybody could sell that that's got two brain cells to rub together, and try selling this piece over here and then come talk to me. It seems like a lot of that.
I'll probably go ahead and turn into.
Okay.
Yeah, heading to the guest house.
Mm-hmm.
But all of you make me a spot hidden.
$89 is a fail.
You didn't sound sure of that.
Okay, it is.
Hard success.
Extreme success.
Okay. So with the way that the house is set up, Kara and Nate, you're able to see that a lot of the light from the back of the house kind of spills out into the backyard. The backyard is very plush, and you can tell that they put a lot of effort into watering this and keeping up plants that really shouldn't be surviving too well. There is a very lovely but small but very well decorated pool. And there seems to be like along the back of the house all these like chairs that you can sit in. There's a fire pit. It's a very nice backyard. But you see there seems to be like a gazebo of some sort on the very opposite end of this large backyard from you. And you can see that there's someone sitting in the gazebo. Kind of just, they're back to you. It's kind of dark, so it's really dark. You can't really see who they are, Nate, but you can see that there's someone kind of hunched over doing something. Kara, you can tell this is definitely the physique of like an elderly woman. But as far anything past that, you're not entirely sure. Nate, you just kind of see some kind of hunched over figure. Kara, you are able to tell, like there's braids around the back of the hair that's kind of pinned up on the head. She seems to be slumped over working on something. Bernard, you don't see anything.
I see nothing.
Okay, I'm gonna go on into the guest house.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a beautifully well-appointed guest house. It's 2 stories, so the bottom story seems to be like kind of like a cabana style where it's open-aired with some chairs and like a small wood-burning stove oven kind of thing. And then open-air stairs leading up into like a loft style that is enclosed that has like a large bed and a pull-out couch and, you know, some basic amenities. There does seem to be an attached bathroom up here as well.
All right, so I'm going to look at them and say, hey, just the basics for now. And then I'm going to pull out my bug sweep kit. And I would like to check the entire guest house. Would you like a spot hidden roll to go along with that bug sweep kit?
Yeah, that or some kind of equipment use roll. Or, if there's an equipment kind of use thing that you would like to use, but I would take a spot hidden.
Yeah, I think I'm going to use the spot hidden. Hard success.
Okay. So you're able to sweep this entire loft and the downstairs, and you don't find any indication of anything even remotely resembling a bug. There's very little even electrical components, mostly the above light upstairs and a fan that's attached to that light. Everything else seems to be, there's like 2 outlets in the whole thing. If anything, you're a little concerned that you're not going to have enough stuff to like plug in your cell phones, but there's very little electricity run to this.
Okay. Hey, the place is clean. Yeah. Speak freely.
While he is doing the sweep for bugs, is there oasis, the gazebo, that I can look out of? Spy on
Yeah, there's
this a little bit?
if you stand at the top of the stairs, you can kind of look over the brush and the different lawn ornamentation and see into the gazebo. It's still pretty far off. You can still use your hard success to see that there is a woman sitting in there. You can still see that she seems to be working on something, but you're not able to, at this distance, make much more out.
Okay, so she is still just in there, no other movement, whatever she's working on.
Correct.
So, Kara, you, I mean, that's a really long backyard, but you saw that old lady down there at the gazebo?
Mm-hmm. Looks like she's working on something. Can't make out what, though.
Yeah, I just feel like I ought to put eyes on everybody that's around here. I mean, I know this is supposed to be, you know, an old friend of Statham's, but they also said they hadn't seen each other in like 30 years. And didn't he say something like, I think he'll you know, be over it by now or something like that? Like, wasn't there something?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, the hospitality seems great, and there's a lot of people, but, you know, the only reason we know this guy is Ignacio is because he said he is, and the only reason we know we're at his house is because we got in a car with somebody who said they were taking us there. I'm probably just being overly paranoid, but, you know, as head of security, I feel like it's my job to make sure everything's on the up and up, so I think I'm going to pull my swim trunks on and, you know, go walk around the pool one time, which is going to get me closer to that end of the thing, and just, you know, take a look. I mean, she could be weaving a basket, or she could be building a bomb. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, I'm going overboard here, but you know what I'm saying.
Is this close enough to me that I can hear you guys?
I'm not hiding anything.
Okay.
I mean, I think it would be pretty hard to hide who you are in a house this big with this many people. So, I'm not too worried about it, but I understand you are. So, yeah, you go for that swim, and I might take a walk around the grounds in a few minutes.
Did you say you saw someone?
Yeah, down the far end of the property, farthest away from the house, you know, past the pool, and there's like a little sitting area there with some outdoor furniture, the palm trees on the right. Just past that, there was a gazebo. You didn't see the gazebo down at the end of the property?
I guess I noted there was a gazebo, but I didn't see anybody in it.
Yeah, a little old lady. Looked like she was working on something in there. But
if you want, I'll just walk over there and talk to her.
All right.
The rest of the family
You're
seems
probably
pleasant enough. If she's in the family, then she'll be expecting us. And if not, then why is she here?
Yeah, and you know the Spanish. You can go up there and hola the hell out of her and stuff.
Gonna hola her all night.
That's really not cool. Okay, so
I'm gonna put on swim trunks.
okay,
I'm gonna put on, like one of those little overshirts that is just like barely passes your waist and matches the swimsuit.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? So that I can put a gun in the back waistband of my swimsuit.
gotcha.
And I'll just go sit and like dangle my toes into the pool.
Okay, Carl, you're taking a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you're going straight over to the gazebo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're gonna start with Nate. So, Nate, you go out and you can have your gun on you. You're able to dangle your feet in the pool. The water is warm, but not like hot. But it's obviously a heated pool. It's very nice. Very tempting to get all the way in after a long day of flying. So make me a spot hidden.
Success.
Okay, regular success.
Yes.
You notice that you can see into a lot of the rooms of the home. And you can see that there are people talking in one of the leftmost downstairs windows. They seem to be having an animated conversation, but you can't make out who they are. But there does seem to be two people. You can see like their shadows on the
sheer
glass.
curtains. Like the lights coming through. I can see, yeah.
Yeah, but they seem to be having an animated conversation. But judging by what you've seen of the way that the entire family acts, they all seem to have very animated personalities where they do a lot of gesturing when they talk. So it's hard for you to tell if this is a argument or if it's just two people talking about flowers. You're not entirely sure. Okay. Cara, what kind of walk are we talking? We going through just the backyard? We going around the front of the house? What are we doing?
Just the backyard, like a leisurely stroll. Oh my gosh, if I could talk on stream, that'd be great. Like just one of those strolls. But she is keeping a keen eye out, but she's trying to disguise it. Nighttime walk before heading to bed.
Okay. Make me a spot hidden. Not one. Poof, you're a spot hidden.
Move your spot hidden.
Thank you.
I was just thinking that earlier.
I didn't want to overuse the gag,
Regular success.
Okay. So as you're walking, you walk through like some decorative like rock ground cover.
Mm-hmm.
And you're able to see into the house. You can also see the two people that are having this animated conversation. You would have to, with the way that the backyard is laid out, you would have to walk basically nearly directly up to the window to get a better look at what's going on. There seems to be like a shrubbery there that you either have to pick one side or the other. You're either too far away on the outside or you have to go right up underneath the window on the balcony. You also notice that in the night you can see that they have a handful of house pets. You see like a small dog sleeping on the back porch. Looks like some sort of beagle mix type deal. And sitting in a rocking chair down on the far left, there is an all black cat that just is staring at you.
I'm gonna approach the cat.
Okay.
Pet the cat.
I am definitely petting the cat.
Is there an animal handling role of some kind? Is there something that would work in the stead of animal handling?
Well, there's natural world, perhaps charm.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Give me
the
a charm
interpersonal
roll.
skills.
An interpersonal skill. Give me
I think-
charm.
Yeah.
Persuade, charm, persuade.
Fast
You could
talk,
try to
possibly.
intimidate the cat, but good luck with that. They roll with like 3 bonus die.
They do.
Fast talk with a pss, 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 pss.
Pss, 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 pss.
Kitty.
It's a failure, but I want to push the roll.
Okay.
So, like, at first I was just going, like, approach it, assuming that it was friendly, but then I'm sure it got a little skittish.
The possible
So slow my
consequences of a
step
failed push roll
up.
are
Yeah.
cat scratch fever.
So what are you doing to push the roll?
I'm going to crouch down its level with it. And just stop and wait for it to come to me with my.
Okay. So make me another roll. So the consequence will be
Okay.
that you will startle the cat and possibly anger the cat. And you are now at a less defensible position.
Cool. I'm okay with that.
That doesn't
My
look...
first roll was an 80. My second roll is a 79.
Jeez.
Both are failures.
So as you begin to crouch down and, you put one hand out and you do the pss, 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 you see the cat kind of shoulders pull up and it goes with hair kind of standing up and it starts hissing at you. And then in trying to stay crouched, you kind of start to lose your balance and you teeter. And this completely startles the cat. The cat pounces up and then hops from chair to chair along the back porch till it finally turns back and looks at you and then runs off into the night.
Womp womp.
All right. So, Bernard, you may approach the gazebo.
So as I'm approaching, I'm going to call out a Spanish hello greeting, but it's going to be a Panamanian slang, unbeknownst to me.
Okay.
That she may or may not recognize being from a slightly more northward region.
Okay. Just for clarifications for the keeper's purposes, what is your goal in using that particular slang?
I think it's how everyone says hello because I learned Spanish in Panama.
Oh, okay. I'm with you. I thought he was trying to, figure out some information about this person by seeing if they would react to, code words, and I was like, I don't know. Okay, I'm with you. All right. So you call out a greeting in your best Spanish that you can muster, and you don't really get a reaction from the woman.
But I have made my presence clear, so I'm going to continue approaching her and stop maybe 5 feet away and...
From the gazebo or from her?
From the gazebo. I'm not going to, go into the gazebo with her until I know she would be okay with that, but I'm going to stop about 5 feet away and say, once again, hello, and how are you doing? Everything okay out here?
So you still don't get any response. But moving to the vantage point that you're kind of looking over her shoulder. She's sitting kind of on the round portions of the gazebo with her back almost to you, which is like a 3/4. And you can see that she's got an easel in front of her and a very old handmade table that kind of wraps around one portion of her body with paints set up. You can tell it's very well used. It's got paint strips all the way down it and water stains and things like that. And you can't see her face, but you can see her hand reach up in a very shaky, very old hand, covered in wrinkles. And you can tell by the way that the joints in her fingers are probably very arthritic, seized up hand, trying to paint on this easel. But you still don't get any response from her.
Can I see what she's painting?
Make me a spot hidden.
Poof, you're a spot hidden.
Thanks.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
That is a 94, exactly 20 above passing.
Okay. No, unfortunately, that is...
Spend some luck, dude. This is important.
You're too far and it's too dark. You would have to be closer in order to see what it is. Because even she only seems to have... The only light that you can see is that there seems to be a candle lit on her table with her paints that's illuminating her canvas. There's not overhead lighting in this gazebo.
Is she making any sort of acknowledgement whatsoever of any sound I'm making?
No.
Gonna snap a finger.
There seems to be no recognition, no jolt, no turning.
Okay, I'm going to, in a way that I am 100% sure,
But can you ever be 100% sure?
as much as I can, I'm going to attempt to walk in a way that she will see me approaching and not be like a jump scare for her.
I got you.
And
Make me an anti-stealth roll. Okay.
I could make a stealth.
So
and
make a
hope to
stealth,
fail.
and if you fail, you will have succeeded in being not stealthy.
You're playing fast and loose with the rules here. I love it.
Shit.
62
Is that a failure?
compared to a 20, so
Nice.
that is a failure.
Yeah, so you're able to move in a way that makes you incredibly visible.
Wouldn't it suck if you were really good at
Really
stealth?
good at stealth
It's like,
right then.
even when I try not to sneak up
I'm
on
so sneaky. I think that's a brilliant use of that rule, and I don't care.
So does he get to put a tick marker by it? Because although it was a failure, he succeeded in what he was trying to do with that skill.
I'll consider it and get back to you. Because he really didn't learn anything about being stealthy.
Didn't he, though?
Don't do this.
If I do this, it's not stealthy. File that away for future use.
So you're able to walk around basically like through the actual grounds to the other side of the gazebo where there's another entrance, one that has like a dual entrance. And you're able to come at her basically from the front. And as you enter the gazebo, and now you're at a vantage point where you can see her face and you can see the light from her candle on her face, you can see that she has a very weathered face. In your best estimation, she has to be probably nearly 100, if not more. She is wrapped around in a shawl with white hair that's braided up and pinned into little mounds on the back of her head, very delicately. And due to the sagging of her face being as old as she is, it's hard to see her eyes. But you don't see her, like, look up at you or acknowledge you until you step into the gazebo, which it's an old wooden gazebo. As you step, there's, like, a creak and an audible sound. And you see her kind of twitch her head back and forth. And then she kind of looks up. And when she looks up, you can see that her eyes are completely milky white.
Gonna try to say hello again. Hey.
You see her kind of make a face and turn an ear. And then you hear her say something in a very old, frail voice of hello? Who's there?
Going to step forward enough to be better able to be understood and say, hey, I'm Bernard. I'm a visitor here. We saw you out here and we're just trying to make sure everything was okay.
Oh, visitors. I love visitors. Come sit. She pats the wood next to her. Come sit. Come paint with me.
Okay, I'll sit.
And you see her reach next to her and grab like another little canvas and shakily hands it to you. And she begins to talk very, very softly. Are you a friend of my grandson's?
Well,
You must be friend of grandson. You are family now. So you paint with me. You paint with abuela.
who is your grandson?
My grandson Ignacio. He is a good boy. You paint with grandma, with abuela.
We've just met, but he seems like a friendly enough guy. I think we'll be friends in the end.
Who did you just meet?
Ignacio.
Oh, my grandson. You are friend of grandson. You paint with abuela.
Okay, I'm going to start trying to paint. And I'm going to paint my best attempt at painting a forgotten tomb lined with warriors with a green haze flowing through them.
Okay. Make me a spot hidden.
Poof, you're spot hidden,
Thanks.
and I rolled a 92.
Okay. What are you painting, Ignacio? Tell Abuela, what are you painting?
I'm Bernard.
Oh,
But-
Bernard, friend of Ignacio. What do you paint for Abuela?
I'm painting a thing from a dream I had.
Oh, dreams. Dreams are very nice. We love dreams, Ignacio. I'm drawing a dream as well. And she turns her easel towards you so that the light is hitting it better. And what you see is she has depicted a warrior made of stone. And it's a very well done painting for someone who is very obviously blind.
Bet she plays a mean pinball.
She does.
Now, I'm assuming during the lead up to this, I've done a little research and seen Tula.
Mhm.
Do they resemble these statues at Tula?
Very much so.
I'm going to say, number one, before I say anything else, can I make a roll to see how good my art is?
Yeah.
Base is 1, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure base on art is 1. I rolled a 46.
Your first grade teacher would be really proud of you.
It was worth shooting the shot there. So I'm going to look at it very, very closely and try to commit some of the details of it to memory. And I will ask her, you did this. This is very nice. I love this. This is Tula, correct?
Yes, it's Tulan. It's from Dream, Iggy. I have dream of Tulan and stone soldiers. You paint with Abuela.
What was your dream?
Oh, in my dream, there were beautiful stone warriors, and they followed Abuela, Iggy. They came with Abuela to a great gold door. But door would not open for Abuela, Iggy. But you will open door, Iggy. I know these. No, paint with Abuela. And she keeps pushing paints to this point where you have like all the paint on this little table has shifted from her side to your side, and you keep having to kind of like push the canisters back up on the table because they're getting to the point where they're going to fall on you. But every time she just you paint with Abuela. Come paint, and she keeps handing you brushes. And you've accumulated like 8 brushes at this time.
So I'll keep painting, and while I'm painting, I'm going to ask her, so what's on the other side of the door?
Oh, no one knows. Abuela does not know, Iggy. I cannot open door, but in dream, you will find way, Iggy. Open door for Abuela. What do you paint, Iggy?
Did I already tell her this? I'll reiterate exactly the same, but slower.
Would you like to see what Abuela painted, Iggy? I paint stone statue from Tulan.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Iggy. We paint together like when you were little. You paint with Abuela. And you begin to realize that this is a very cyclic conversation. That Abuela does not realize that you're not Iggy. And when
God,
she
how I
does,
wish that we could hear this conversation, because I just so want to call him Iggy for the rest of us.
but you realize that she is extremely elderly and her faculties are not all there, but that she's trying to communicate with Iggy the importance of, painting with her, and that she wants to spend time with Iggy to paint with her.
What is the temperature right now like?
It's not hot, but it's warmish. The ground kind of holds that heat from the day.
Temperature is sticky.
It's sticky.
So I'm going to finish up what I'm calling a painting here. And I'm going to say, okay, I'm finished with my painting. Would you like to look at it?
Do not tease your abuela, Iggy. Do not tease. You know. And she turns to look at you with a haughty look that grandmas give when they feel like you're mocking them. Oh, Iggy, what lovely painting you've done. I'm sure very lovely.
Would you like some help getting back to the house? It's getting late.
Oh, yes, you help Abuela to house. You help Abuela. Come. And she starts to shakily try to get up from her chair.
I'll do my best to brace her on the way up, and I will take her arm and walk with her back to the family abode.
As you guys begin to leave the gazebo, she turns and Iggy, grab Abuela's painting. We do not want to leave outside. Grab painting.
I'll go grab it.
And Iggy, you keep this painting from Abuela. This is my gift to you. You keep Abuela's painting.
Okay.
And
I'm in love with Abuela.
you begin to walk her to the house, and the walking is laborious for her. You're moving at a pace that is uncomfortably slow for you as she shuffles across the ground. And she begins to talk about your brothers and, that so-and-so's going off to college. And you can tell she's talking to Ignacio as if he was, like, in college. And how are your studies going, Iggy? Are you doing well? I'm so glad you could come home for the summer. You're so nice. Abuela missed you. And, you do a lot of the feigning, yeah, I'm glad I came home too. Like, because trying to convince her otherwise that you're not Iggy, she just redirects it back every time. But eventually you get her back to the back door, and one of the women come, and they give you that very apologetic, like, I appreciate it. And they go, come on, Abuela, I take you upstairs. And Abuela kind of paws at them. She's like, oh, Salina, I see you. You come help painting with Abuela? She said, no, Abuela, painting is done for today. Oh, okay, we paint tomorrow with Abuela. She starts patting. You paint tomorrow with Abuela, Selena. And she takes her to a small room at the bottom of the stairs and ushers her to bed.
Do I see Iggy?
He's in the parlor with his brothers still finishing off their nightcaps and cigars.
I'm going to walk to the door and say, Iggy, would you mind if I had a word with you real quick?
Oh, certainly, yes. Give me just one moment. He puts out his cigar and grabs his drink and comes out and, would you like one?
A cigar?
He was like a glass with some kind of dark liquor.
Sure.
So he goes and pours you a glass and brings it to you. Here you go. What can I do for you, my friend Bernard?
We noticed, I didn't notice, my companions noticed your abuela in the gazebo and were curious as to what she was doing. So I decided to go and check because I speak a little Spanish and, I was sort of interested in what she was doing as well. And she was painting, and she has this painting here, and she tried to give it to me thinking I was you.
I apologize, Abuela Alba. She is 107, and she gets confused. But no, you keep painting. You keep the painting. Abuela wants you to have it. Believe me, I have plenty of Abuela's painting. And he begins to look around the room, and just now having stepped into it, you can see that up on the top side of the room are these beautiful paintings of mountains and streams and old temples, and then there's almost like this timeline. You can see the very first ones are all these very scenic, beautiful, delicate paintings. They all have a very old patina to them, and they begin to seem to get newer, and the ones that you're seeing that are newer seem to be focused around, you see Tulan, you see stone, you see a gold door, you see a stone warrior, you see some sort of dark vortex, and then an empty spot on the wall. But yes, I have plenty of Abuela's paintings. You keep for you. It's quite nice. It's one of the better ones she's been able to do recently. I can't believe that her being as blind as she is, she's as good. But I guess it's just a talent that comes and goes. She knows where the paint goes, and there she is.
This is a very nice painting.
But yes, you keep it.
She also mentioned that she had a dream that you were going to open a golden door. Has she mentioned that to you before?
No, I can't say she has. Normally she dreams about her grandkids or things like. Occasionally there's like a dark man that she can't see that she talks about, and those are usually when she wakes up from, night terrors and things like that. But she talks about some kind of hallway, and there's a hole in the floor, but she always wakes up very scared, and all the TLs have to go settle her down with some, and he kind of holds up the glass, shaking. He's like, we gotta go calm her down. But no, nothing about a gold door that I recall. But Abuela is not all there anymore at her age. But, I appreciate you spending the evening with her. That was very kind of you.
Oh, no problem. It was fun, actually.
Abuela is quite the character when she's all there. And the mornings are better. The mornings she's more present. As the day goes on, less and so.
That's understandable.
Yes. I believe her doctor called it sundowning or something to that effect, where at the nighttime she gets less coherent. But yes, we are very pleased to still have her around. But yes, is there anything else I could do for you?
No, I didn't want, even though she told me to take the painting, she called me Iggy by name, and I didn't want to take something that she rightfully thought she was giving to you.
No. Abuela believes that everything happens for a reason. So if she gave to you, she gave to you.
Okay. Well, I will see you in the morning.
All right.
And I will walk back out to the mother-in-law suite with my new painting.
Okay. And Ignacio goes back to sitting with his brothers, relights his cigar, and it looks like they were in the middle of a card game of some sort. All right, you guys have the floor. And I need to stop talking because my voice is going.
Where are they?
I think I'm going to get up from the pool, make a walk around the backyard, not looking for pets or anything. But so in my mind, so there's this really nice Spanish,
like stucco Pueblo.
yeah,
house.
like painted pink, and I mean on the edges of the property are like stone stuccoed walls that are like 6 feet tall. They go on. And,
You got it. That's what I was going for.
And outside, and it's all lush and green on the inside, and outside it's scrub and hard land.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just walking around. I feel a little self-conscious about it because the hospitality that's been shown and everything, but I'm like looking for vulnerabilities. How is our little guest house situated to the other house? And if it turns out this is a bad idea and things go south, how could I get, my two compatriots would be out of here, just checking the place out.
Okay.
Scoping it for anything that seems out of the ordinary, what the threats, vulnerabilities are, escape routes, those kind of things.
So you notice that the kind of stucco walls that surround the backyard, they all have gates on either like the center of each wall and that lead out into the kind of scrub areas. You do note favorably that, you guys are staying upstairs, and the only way to the upstairs is a single stairwell. So one entrance, one exit. It's defensible. And being that you're up on the second story, you have a good vantage point to see the entire yard from your windows. There aren't...
So the guest house is not like a separate building. It's like a wing off of the main house.
No, it's a separate building, but it's like the downstairs is open air seating living.
Gotcha.
And then it's
that's cool.
Like an upstairs like loft that's on stilts.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. And part of the downstairs is like in the center is like a stone oven that's also used as heating for the upstairs, like heats the floors and things like that, just from the natural transient properties of heat. But yes, you are standing up, almost like those beach stilt houses, It's like that. There's one entrance up. It's that one stairwell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, after I've made my trip around the property, I'm going to go back into the guest house.
Okay.
How long do you think I was out there with the abuela?
10, 15 minutes. Not long.
But I made a whole painting.
Okay, 3 hours. How long do you want to be out there with abuela before you begin to usher her back home, I suppose?
Maybe an hour.
Okay. You spent an hour with abuela as she talked to you and came in and out of knowing who you were, not knowing who you are, thinking you're Iggy, thinking that she's just now introducing herself to you. It's a solid hour of that roundabout conversations.
Okay.
Kara, what you doing?
After the cat, she is probably going to go down to the seating beneath the suite and just keeping an eye out on everyone, whether they're at the pool or in the and once everyone starts turning in, she gets up and
Okay, certainly.
So I'm imagining you're going to be in the house for a little while by the time I go back. And then Kara will be following me in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to walk in carrying a painting. And are you like hanging out in the living room?
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm walking through, I'm going to be like, I'm going to stop, say, check this out, and show it to you.
All right, I'm going to look at it. And so if I understand the painting, it is the painting of a stone warrior.
A stone Toltec warrior. Mm-hmm.
Geez, man, where did you get this?
The lady that y'all saw in the gazebo is Iggy's grandmother, and she painted it. But the craziest fucking thing, man, she is completely blind. Like, barely see any sort of iris or pupil anymore.
You telling me a blind lady painted this?
Yeah.
And it's like she's in my head because I've seen this warrior.
Yeah?
Yeah, man. I had to dream. And Jesus, like I was in a place just filled with these guys.
And is that about the time Kara walks in?
Yeah.
So
You had a dream with these guys.
Well, I mean, they were like standing there, and I was in this big hallway. They're like statues. I was carrying that staff we got from the sisters whatchamacallit back in Egypt.
That's so weird. I had a dream that was pretty similar. I was in a tomb reading from the book, and my words just turned into some kind of jade mist or something, and was going through all the warriors and then turned them to stone. And then the weirdest fucking thing, man, like, as I was out of my body watching all of this, and suddenly the vision in front of me was like separated, like some kind of insect eye. Just a whole bunch of different iterations of me reading this book. It was so weird,
That's
man.
some freaky shit.
And you had a weird dream too.
Right, I was carrying that staff. I was looking for a hole in the ground to stick it into, kind of like there was that hole in the pedestal back over there in Egypt. I was looking for something like that. I couldn't find the damn thing. I just like look up at all these statues around me and say, "Where's the friggin' hole?" And son of a bitch, one of them pointed, and there was a hole in the ground. And I was going to stick the staff in there, but I woke up. I don't know what would have happened.
I also had a dream, but that the staff was already in the hole, going down the hallway with a cat leading me, of all things, to this golden door, and it opened. And inside more soldiers, and then I woke up.
Geez, guys, it seems like there's almost a sequence here, right? So you spit out some green mist or something, and it made the statues come to life?
It was the words I was reading from the book we got from Shafira.
Right, but see, in my dream, the statue was able to point to a hole in the ground, so it sounds like that would have been after the green mist made him come to life. And in Carr's dream, the staff was already in the hole in the ground, but I never got to that point in my dream of actually putting it in there. So it's almost like there's a sequence here.
The staff was in the hole.
The hole was on the log was on the hill, the green grass grew all around.
Yeah, and there were green winds blowing to the door, and then the door opened.
So you said there was a cat that led you to the door.
Yes.
What color cat?
A black cat, like, you know, the like Vanta black paints that just like absorb all light and like is like the blackest paint,
like super
ever?
black.
Yeah, that was the cat.
Now, I may be wrong here, but there was a lot of talk about Bastet, I believe, previously, and wasn't Bastet like a black cat?
She was a goddess of cats, yes. And in some depictions, she does have a head of a cat.
Nathaniel's just nodding through this conversation. Who the fuck is Bastet? Oh, yeah, they're doing archaeology shit again.
So, anything notable about the cat other than the extreme darkness of its coat?
I was following it, and then at the very end, inside the room, there were like these pillars and fire and something, and it's just hopping along these pillars, and at the end, it turns and looks at me as if it knew I was behind it the entire time.
Obviously, something is trying to reach out to us, but I don't know what. Maybe it's related to some kind of inherent magic in the artifacts we were given.
Yeah, but how does the old lady play into this? You know, you say she was blind and she painted this thing from there. Who was she?
I'm gonna, at that point, realizing that Kara may not have heard the previous points of the conversation, I'm going to turn the painting to her and say, look at this. Does this remind you of anything?
Yeah, I saw those in my dream.
The lady out in the gazebo is Iggy's abuela. She's 107, completely blind, and had painted this. Unless
did you watch her paint it?
I didn't, and somebody could be like extremely pranking us and like switching out her painting, or I guess pranking her and switching out her painting with one that's well done by somebody who can actually see what they're doing, but I don't think so.
You know, honestly, with all the weird shit that's happened to us, a blind lady painting is the least surprising of them all, so...
Yeah, at this point, it's like a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I never actually thought when I entered into archaeology, all these religious things that we were looking at, I was like, that's cute how they thought this was going on. And it's so weird now that we're sort of seeing that there was something behind it the entire time. Veruca Pepper, my comrade, used to get on me like, don't disrespect the things because there's power in them. And I would just laugh it off, but I'm finding that there is power in these old things.
At this point, Nate is starting to feel a little goofy, just nodding. So he takes this little pad out of his pocket. He's like taking notes while he nods.
Power equals things.
Right. Archaeology shit.
Spooky.
So maybe tomorrow, to start out the day, we can go on to Tula and see what we can find there. Unless you guys have something more pressing that you'd like to check out first.
Hey, did this old lady say why she painted this thing?
She thought I was Iggy. And I kept trying to tell her I was not Iggy, but she, she had some dementia going on. She was convinced that I was Iggy, and she kept saying that, I think she said she was trying to open the door, but she couldn't, but I, Iggy, could. And I didn't really, it was weird with the dream and all, but I kind of didn't think anything of it. But if you guys all had the same dream, there might be... I asked Iggy about it, and he kind of wrote it off, but I think considering the last time we encountered one of these native folks and imbued with their power that helped us, maybe there's something here.
Would explain why Nafrim is here. They seem to keep popping up wherever there's weird shit happening.
That's true.
Yeah, after Morocco and Egypt, like you said, it must be a Tuesday.
Must be.
Makes a note. Apparently weird shit happens on Tuesdays.
I never liked Tuesdays.
Well, I think I'm going to turn in for the night. See.
Me too.
What is good in the morning. Because it will be Wednesday, my dudes.
It will.
Tuesday's gone.
With the wind.
With the wind.
So I'll change into my jimmies. My Jimmer Jammers.
Mm-hmm.
Get ready for bed.
Anything else y'all are doing tonight?
Nope.
Do you want me to roll for disguise?
When they go to bed, while they're asleep, pull out some earbuds and start watching YouTube videos onto... She is going to how to track cell phones and whatnot because her one tech guy is in A, so she is trying to learn what she needs to try and find him.
Okay. And you want to make me kind of a skill use roll?
Oh.
See if you can make sense of the mumbo jumbo of the techie people.
Yeah.
Electrical repair. Library use.
Library use.
She's going on the web to try and find this stuff out.
I'd take it.
There's also a computer use usually in modern settings that I don't know if anybody took it, but...
And I said, and I have with old 20s character sheet, so we have to add some skills onto the sheet.
Yeah, we play pretty fast and loose with skills anyways, so...
She's going to watch the first 10 minutes of this video and everything she's listening to cannot comprehend, and she's going to get increasingly more frustrated, and then she's just going to close her phone out, shove it under her pillow, roll over, and stew in anger trying to go to bed. But yeah.
Okay. Well, the next morning comes and you are woken to the sound of the family's roosters. They apparently somewhere close on the property have some livestock. And so you hear the sound of roosters going off pretty early in the morning. You've had a very late night and it was way earlier than you really would hope to. But even this far out of the house, you can smell the food because all the windows on the backside of the house are open to let in the morning air. Kind of airing out the house, very old school way, first thing in the morning, crack open all the windows. And you can smell the food coming in to y'all's loft. Choice is yours whether to get up and go take part or to go back to sleep, but you can tell the house is up.
I'm getting food. The one thing that can wake me up is food.
I'm hoping they have chorizo.
Yeah, so you guys go into the kitchen, and it is packed with people. Whereas before people were kind of milling about the whole house, it looks like at this time of morning, the kitchen is the place to be. There are little kids sitting in high chairs eating, eggs and bits of toast, and other kids trying to find backpacks, and they have like a, pastry of some kind hanging out their mouth while they're half putting on a shoe. You can tell it's a school morning, like all these younger kids are trying to get together. The teenagers are trying to slink by, and there's a mom sending them back upstairs to change because they are not dressed for school. This is very reminiscent of, big house, lots of kids headed off to school mornings. You see all the tias and the uncles and all them stuff. They're all kind of bustling around, getting ready for work. And you can tell that probably in the next hour or so, things are going to die down as people start leaving the house. But there is just a veritable buffet of foods. There are different, sauces and eggs and toasts and bacons and chorizos, any kind of meats. It's just, and everything smells wonderful. After staying at Statham's Manor for so long, where the food's kind of on the blander side, and they've been trying to ramp it up for you, this is the other end of that spectrum, where everything is packed with flavor, and you're almost looking at things that are a little too red, and you're like, that might be dangerous.
I'm going to throw some scrambled eggs, some chorizo, and some fried potatoes on my plate, and I'm going to take a spoonful of some red sauces in there and toss it on top of my scrambled eggs, and I'm going to look around for a cup of coffee.
As you turn to look for a cup of coffee, you see one of the older women, maybe not like a tia, but somewhere in the middle between a tia and an abuela, like, older subset, coming around with a carafe of coffee and several mugs, and she starts setting them down in front of you and pours you coffee. And she points to the middle of the table where there's like powdered cream and sugars and things like that for you. But the smell of this coffee is insane. Like, it is a rich, deep flavor coffee, something that you would expect south of the border, that it's one of those very potent coffees. And it's murkier than you're used to seeing because it's brewed like from whole beans.
Man, up in Queens in my grandmother's house, there's this little Cuban place around, and you get coffee in cups like this big, and like, damn, where's my coffee? I'm going to tell you what, that stuff will kill you.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this coffee tastes like that.
It's probably on par with that. It's a deep, rich coffee, probably much stronger than you guys are used to in your day-to-day, diner kind of coffee that's kind of watered down. This is much stronger. But it smells, even if you don't drink coffee, the smell of it is very potent and very nice.
I'm going to get a plate, and I am going to try to find the nephew that Iggy said was into YouTube, but he wanted him to go start a restaurant in New York.
Yeah, so you can see one of the teenagers, he's walking around, he's got like big headsets on, and he's got like his phone out, but you can also see he's got like a laptop bag, whereas all the other kids have like a backpack. He has like the quintessential gamer side satchel, and he's kind of like shoving like a breakfast burrito that he's made hastily into his mouth and all that stuff. But then he reaches into the fridge and he pulls out a bottle that's like a mason jar, and it says, like secret sauce on it. And he starts doling it onto his burrito. And you see like 4 other people come rushing to get a spoonful of whatever the sauce is. It's kind of a greenish hue, and he has to shake it pretty vigorously before he pours it. But it apparently draws quite the crowd in the family. But you can tell this is probably your dude.
What you got there, man?
Oh, this is a sauce I made. Do you want to try it? It's hot.
Sure, I'll try a little bit of it.
Okay. So he takes the dollop and puts it on your plate for you to taste.
Do I need to roll a constitution?
Yeah. If someone in Mexico tells you something is pretty hot,
believe them.
Believe them.
So 82 over a 20.
You're unable to speak.
So the first few seconds of the bite, it's really good flavor. There's a lot of like garlics and like mojo and like really, really intense seasonings. It's a creamier base, but it's quite good. But then it starts to kind of build. And it's one of those that kind of catches you on the back of your tongue to where you feel like you've almost swallowed napalm. You can still taste how good it is, and you want to keep eating it because it does taste good, but you can feel the heat in your ears, and you're beginning to do that. And the teenage boys around you who have put a colossal amount on their like breakfast tortillas. I begin to kind of chuckle, and one of them like reaches over and fills a glass of water and like hands it over to you.
When he starts trying to hand me the water, I'm gonna be like, no, that's just gonna make it worse. It just
and one of the teenager boys is like, I almost had him. And the young man with the headphones reaches in and like grabs like a cup of milk or something out of the fridge. He's like, this'll take care of it. It's gonna stick with you. I apologize for your next trip to the bathroom, but
So I'll take a sip of the milk and I'll be like, that was really, really hot, man. That was really good.
Thank you. It's my own secret. I grew the peppers myself. Yeah, I enjoy making stuff, but you know.
That must be why Iggy was telling you should be a restaurateur. You take initiative on stuff like that.
Yeah, but I enjoy it, but you know, that's not where the money is. I wanna be famous. I'm gonna start a YouTube channel, right? So on my channel, I'm gonna play games, but not like other people can play games, right? I'm gonna play games and see how bad I can be at them. Like, 'cause everybody's trying to be really good at games, and you can see all of his brothers and cousins start rolling their eyes and like repacking up their stuff like they've heard this 1,000 times. He's like, everybody's trying to be the best at games. I'm gonna show you how to be the worst at games.
Well, I'm sure that's something you would find interesting, but look at it this way, man. Everybody eats. Not everybody plays video games.
I mean, yeah.
If your YouTube channel was about your experiences trying to start a restaurant in New York, like recipes and all that kind of thing, it'd probably do really good. Go right now. Like, if you want to be a YouTuber, you have to do research, right? Go look up how much food videos get in terms of views compared to an average gaming video.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean,
the main thing you need for if you're going to go stateside and start a restaurant, the main thing you need is a good recipe for tostadas with beans. Gringos love that shit.
Okay. Sure.
Dos literales.
Dos literales. Yeah, no. I'll see about that, man. Appreciate it, but yeah, you be careful with the rest of that sauce, okay, man? I gotta hit the school.
All right. I remember tostadas with beans.
Dos literales.
Yeah, tostadas with beans, my man. I got you. And you see as he turns to look at his cousin, he's like, what the fuck?
I'm going to keep eating my breakfast, but try to avoid the sauce as much as possible.
Kara's going to walk up and goes, ooh, what's this? And is going to like dump some onto her plate.
Okay.
So,
make me a constitution roll. I hope she beats it and just makes you look like a complete bitch.
I'm pretty sure she will. No.
I should have, honestly.
Push the roll, burn your taste buds off forever.
I'm totally pushing this roll.
Okay,
What's the
consequence of pushing this roll is that you are convinced that if you eat enough of it, that you'll like it and you'll be able to tolerate it because you just want to show him how it's done. And you will be extremely ill all day.
Like
I'm doing it.
Stuck in a bathroom
like
with
you can't
napalm
leave
coming out of
the
your
villa.
ass all day.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm on fire.
Exactly. The burning
Success.
All right. You push past those first few bites. It's hot, but you realize the more you eat it, that you begin to like, okay, I can handle this. Like there
Once
is
your
a peak.
tongue is numb,
Yeah.
you can get the flavor.
There's a peak to the heat that you finally reach, and you realize that you can tolerate it. And you're able to finish consuming the rest of the plate. What you do with that information is of yours, but yes.
I am then gonna go turn to
John is Bernard.
Bernard.
yes, John. No.
Bernard?
John, right? No, Dad's character.
Nate.
Nathan.
Nate.
Nathaniel.
Nathaniel.
I almost said Jonathan. I was like, that's the wrong white boy.
It's a whole other white boy.
Jonathaniel.
Yeah. Nathaniel, go, dude, you have to try this.
Oh, geez, no, thanks. Look, I put some of this red stuff on there, and it's kicking my ass right now. But I wish I had thought to grab one of them tortillas. That kid over there had made a burrito out of his. I'll see if I can find one. I bet they made them fresh.
And they did. You can see a stack of them on the counter that are still hot.
I'm going to snatch one. There's more on my plate than will fit in a burrito, so I'm going to take a little bit of the eggs, a little of the chorizo, a little potatoes, very little of the red sauce that I threw on there, and wrap it up.
Very nice.
Breakfast taco.
This game is revolving a lot around food. Have you guys
You
noticed
brought us
that?
here.
I just feel like that sets a scene.
Dude, I'm
It does.
so hungry right now.
You know your family. Like,
We love Mexican food. We loves it.
what do you want for your birthday? Let's go to the Cuban
Let's go to
restaurant.
the Cuban restaurant. What are we having for Christmas? Cuban food. All right. So you guys make it through breakfast. As you guys finish off portions of your plates, there's usually some woman who comes by and starts dumping more on. It's one of those that, they want you to keep eating the entire, you guys can choose to continue to eat, or you can be like, nah, it's all good. But they will continue to feed you as long as you're sitting at the table. Until you are uncomfortably full.
Having done a lot of field work and knowing it's going to be pretty hot, I'm going to have a pretty light breakfast comparatively. And so once I get done with that, I'm going to go ahead and start making moves.
Okay. So you guys are
I'm
able
going
do
to slow down on my third plate.
Right. Take it easy.
Maybe I just need to top this off with some coffee and look and see if any of the pastries resemble a donut.
They do, but they're different. They're not circular. They're more like churro shaped, but they're not exactly churros. But they're similar to a churro, more like a breakfast pastry type deal.
Yeah, I'm going for one of those. I think the sweetness will help kill the heat in my mouth.
Yeah, and it's delicious. It's flaky, but it's got a soft center, and it seems to be doused with some sort of sugar, cinnamon, and then there's some other maybe nutmeg, something in there that gives it a warmer taste. Not hot, but a warmth taste. I don't know how to explain that properly.
Yeah, so I don't have the experience that Professor Bernard over there has. So I'm thinking, big breakfast, ride around in the car all day long. Perfect day.
Perfect day. Cara, how much are you eating?
It would be rude not to accept seconds. So she's taking a second plate, but then after that, she's gonna basically time it to where she's finishing the second plate as everyone else is up to leave, so she could be like, oh, I really, really wish I could, but we gotta get going.
Okay. So you guys are able to wrap up breakfast. Iggy's been kind of in and out, getting himself together for the morning. And once you guys are all done, and you're making those moves to trying to leave the table, he's like, oh, come. Don't mind the old wenches. They're fine. Come on. You come with me. And he ushers you outside to his car. And he has a really nice, it's a classic, but it's like a
Volkswagen Beetle.
No, it's somewhere like a panel Jeep. With the wood paneling, but it's been kept up really nicely, and it's got big size tires on it to be able to do a little bit of off-roading. You're not going to be rock crawling, but it can handle dirt roads and things like that quite well. But it's really nice. It's not, top of the line Escalade, but you can tell he's put money into it. So, all right. So what do you guys want to do today? I'm free to take you all day. I've taken the day off. I didn't have a whole lot going off anyway, so no big deal. But what do you want to do?
Yeah, I think, geez, you guys, we wanted to see some sights, right? Maybe that Aztec place, what's it
Tula.
called? Yeah.
Oh, you want to go to Toulon? Okay. I don't know if they're doing tours today, but let me check.
We don't need anything special. We just walk around and look at the place.
Well, it's a protected site, so, there's...
Well,
but we'll see what we can do. Let me see. And he starts, see him typing into Google, and he's like, oh, there's not any tours today, but I bet my friend still would. Hold on. And
yeah, well, I'm going to run back inside.
Okay.
And grab my briefcase.
Okay. He steps out the car to go make a phone call. And a lot of it's in Spanish, and it's kind of like that Spanglish, where it's like a lot of Spanish with the occasional English word kind of dropped in. Those of you who are Spanish speakers can hear him talk, something to the effect of, like, do you remember that time with your sister and that guy? No, you owe me. Like, I got some guests, and we treat guests, and I want to take them. They want to go, and I don't know how long they're going to be in town, so yeah, you need to make this happen. And there's a long pause, and he's like, great, we'll be there in a couple hours. It sounds like, he got some friend who is able to get him in to see these private tours, and he's calling in some favor that he's done. He's one of those guys who's interconnected with a lot of people, and everybody owes this guy a favor in some way, shape, or form. And he just really wants to take care of his
Including
case.
us now.
Including you.
Yeah.
Bernard, he stops to you specifically, and he is like, I wanted to thank you again for Abuela. She it can be hard for people to spend a lot of time with her because she can be a little exhausting. So I do appreciate that. So I'm hoping today we'll be able to, get you out to where you want to be, and, you get to see some really cool stuff on my friend. Yeah?
I got into archaeology and anthropology back in the day because I really enjoy the story of people. So getting to spend time with somebody who's well up there like that is always a good experience, even if they're not as forthcoming with actual information. If it's,
No, I understand. Maybe you can teach that to these young kids. They never want to spend time with their abuela. They say she's boring and she's crazy and she always gets their names mixed up, and they're just not respectful. These kids these days.
Yeah, they don't understand.
Yes.
But our days are never coming back, so I'm
true.
glad I got to spend a little time with her.
That's a good way to think of it. All right, were you guys ready to go?
Yep.
Okay. So you all pile into the car, and he tells you it's going to be a couple hours, just the way that they have to go to get to Toulon. It's not a direct route. You have to kind of go up this interstate and cut over, and you got to avoid this construction over here, and blah, blah, blah. So it's a 2-hour drive, give or take. Anything that you guys want to do on the car ride? Any talking? Any questions? Anything you want to do? If not, we can just fast travel.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything. I'm going to be looking out the window.
Okay. You see a lot of scenic areas. You do end up driving through some less than great areas, but, Iggy is the entire time, oh, over here is this, and...
Any industrial areas?
Yeah. You actually drive through a
And I'm going to be looking for, on sides of buildings, trucks, or whatever, NAFRM Corp symbology, whether NAFRM or thanks to some research we've done, I'm familiar with several of their different subsidiaries and shell companies, so I'm just kind of keeping an eye out for those kind of things.
All right, give me a spot hidden.
That's a failure, but I'd like to push it. What are the consequences going to be of failing a pushed roll?
How are you pushing it?
Good question.
Real good.
Push it. Sorry. Salt and pepper. Dr. Pepper. You could ask Iggy to drive you through. You could...
That's it. When I see that there's some industrial area nearby, I'm going to ask Iggy, would it throw our timing off too much, just to kind of drive through those areas? And I'll remind him what I told him yesterday, that, we're kind of scouting the area for manufacturing opportunities, those kind of things.
It wouldn't put us maybe 30 minutes out of our way, but, this isn't the nicest area, so, just be aware. But yeah, I don't mind driving you through.
So
he looks at y'all. He's like, don't judge me if I blow a stop sign or two. Okay. Yeah. So that's
So I
your
guess we can
consequences.
kind of guess what the consequences are. First one was a 77 over a 74. The next one was an 85 over a 74. I would have just spent the luck, but I'm down to like 18 luck points.
I get you.
All right, so
Okay.
yeah.
So you guys begin to drive through this industrialized area. It's manufacturing warehouse, warehousing district. There are a lot of people walking around who, a lot of them are blue-collar workers, but there's a sizable chunk that are less than favorable people, whether they seem to be somehow gang or mob affiliated, or homeless, or on some sort of drugs. There's a lot going on. And Iggy does, on a few of the worst four-way intersections where there's a lot of people on the corners and things like that, he blows straight through stop signs where he can.
After he blows through like the second one, I'm like, hey, Iggy, man, I'm sorry, this is a bad idea. You can, don't stick around here any longer on my account.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably best. There seems to be a lot of folks out today. Roll me a luck check.
I feel like that's targeting.
Could it be a group luck check? Is it a group
That's
thing?
a success. 10 under an 18.
So,
Nice.
as you guys are exiting the warehouse area, there is a stop sign that he has to stop at because there are cars coming on the opposite direction. You, with your security training and lead security role, you're kind of watching out all the windows. And you see a young man who's walking very intently directly for the driver's side door. You see him reach into the waistband of his pants.
Yeah, I'm just going to go, Iggy, go.
Iggy turns and sees the young man, and cars coming be damn, guns it. And there's a moment where it's a little sketchy, but he is able to get through this intersection without problem, and pull back into the interstate. I'm so sorry for that. It is not a good representation of
No, Iggy,
my homeland. I
that was
apologize.
my fault. You warned us, and I pushed the issue.
Well, it's okay. It's all no harm, no foul. We will continue on our journey to Toulon. But maybe I find a safer way for you to find the areas you're looking for. Yes.
Yes, that would be great. Maybe something we can check out tomorrow.
As you guys begin to drive, after a while, you begin to see like signs for Toulon, so many miles ahead, things like that. There's a welcome center.
Are we getting reception on our cell phones?
Yes.
So I want to pull up the Safari browser on my phone, and I'm gonna type in Nafram Corp, and I'm hoping what the autofill text comes up with is Nafram Corp near me. Like you type in McDonald's, it says McDonald's near me.
It does not bring up the near me, but it does bring up other things like Nafram Corp investigations, Nafram Corp scandal, Nafram Corp subsidiaries, Nafram Corp blah blah blah.
You type in Nafram Hidalgo.
Nafram Hidalgo. So, make me a library use.
Poof, your library.
Thanks.
Oh yeah, that's a failure.
Okay. You see that most of the front page of Google, because anytime you have to go to the second page of Google, you're not finding shit. But the first page, it seems to be like hobbled together portions of what you've typed, where it's like Nafram, and it'll talk about like Nafram's main website, which you all have looked at before. And then there's like a listing for like, looking for Naframs in Hidalgo, 10 best ways to find it. And like it seems very hobbled together, and you're not really finding what you're looking for.
Written by AI, probably.
Yeah. It seems all like, please click on my blog. I want to show you ads. But yeah. So you guys begin to see these signs that say, Toulon Historical Site, so many miles. Welcome Center for Toulon Historical Site on the left, next exit, all that stuff. Iggy turns back. Do you want to stop by the Welcome Center? Do you want to see there's like maps and souvenirs and like t-shirts?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So he pulls into the welcome center. The welcome center is exactly what you'd expect for any welcome center. It's like Toulon's greatest, novelty gifts, and the beautiful Toulon architecture can be seen from this era to this era, and And it starts talking about the Toltec Empire and all these different myths and legends. You can get maps of the site. You can get T-shirts and mugs and little, pressed pennies and things like that. So you're able to look around. If there's anything you're looking for specifically, there are
A coconut carved like an Aztec god.
maybe a luck roll.
There's always carts around these places with people selling like handmade items, kind of like a pop-up market, and I'm going to just go check them out.
Okay.
I wasn't able to find the carved coconut.
Coconuts
I
are
was looking
not
for.
super.
I have a collection back at home. Like there's one that's a pirate that my nephew gave me.
He sounds like he has great taste.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you looking for? Anything specific? Or are you just perusing?
Mainly perusing.
Okay.
I enjoy the taste of the local flavor.
Okay.
Did you do that at your last dig? So here you'd be Mexicoing? Perusing?
She was Peru. I was Panama.
Why you gotta ruin the joke? All right. Kara, anything you're doing at the Welcome Center?
No, just acting like she's actually shopping, but really is not.
Yeah, and you guys get a lot of the helpful people. Is there anything I can help you find today? Is this your first trip to Toulon?
Khajiit has wares.
Yes, Khajiit has wares.
Yes, it's my first trip. I don't know about the rest of them, but
Oh, wonderful. Well, please take a map as you go. The tours will be on Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So we won't be doing tours today, but, and Iggy steps in. He's like, actually, we're here to see Jose. Oh, my apologies. You're the private group. Oh, yes. Well, please, I believe Jose should be meeting you down at the toll station just down. And yes, he told us. We just thought we'd stop and, get a drink or, whatever. And she's like, okay, well, have a lovely trip. I hope you guys learn a lot about our wonderful cultures.
I'm going to grab a couple of the map brochures.
Certainly. Map brochures is like a big overhead of the thing, and you can see it points out like, the Toltec statues.
You are
here. Yeah. The Toltec statues, restrooms and, emergency stations and things like that. But it is a pretty large site. There are multiple sections. There's multiple temples within it. There are large. It's a pretty huge archaeological site. So, if there's nothing else you guys want to do, Iggy's ready to
go down to the Toltec station.
The Toltec station.
What kind of things are on the little carts outside?
A lot of jewelry, a lot of bracelets and things like that. There are some like memento, like photos you can have taken, and little statue figures that look like the little Toltec warriors that are on the outside of Toulon. It is, these little tiny carved men.
I'll pick up one of those.
Okay. It's carved out of real stone, and the gentleman tells you, this stone is from the site. It's the surrounding stones. We did not disturb the archaeological site, but the stones that surround it, the same stone that would have been there back when they made it, these stones are carved from it. They're 100% genuine.
I'm going to take 5 pesos and hand it to the guy.
Oh, thank you, sir. Enjoy your trip. Enjoy your travels.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm going to pocket the little statue and
Is that a
keep
statue
going
in
with
your
my
pocket, or are
people.
you just happy to see me? All right, so you guys get back in the car and drive down. It's like one of those things where the Welcome Center is pretty far away from the site because of how big it is. So there's like a road that runs down. And there is a toll center leading into the actual site. So if you purchase like the private tours up at the thing, you're able to give them like a ticket. If you're coming on one of the few days where they open it up to general public tours, then you pay your entry fee there. He stops and speaks to the man at the toll booth, letting him know they're here to see Jose and that they have a private tour and you're able to go right in. As you kind of crest over a hill, you're able to, there's a really great vantage point. There's even like a sign that says stop here for pictures. And you can kind of park your car in like a little alcove off the road. And looking down, you see Toulon. And like I said, it's made of multiple buildings that are all interconnected. There are large courtyards. And even from here, you can see these large pillars that stand on the outside of it. And these rows of carved warriors that are on the grounds. And Iggy kind of turns back, puts one hand up. He was like, okay, well, welcome to Toulon. And that's where we're going to end tonight.
Nice.
But that's all we have for tonight. So thank you guys for coming and watching with us. We'll be back and we'll see what you guys find at Toulon. But all right, that's been it for this evening. I've been your keeper, Emily. That's Steve. That's John. That's Hannah. And we will see you guys next time.
Make sure to flag in on the early subscribe button and hit some likes with your tentacle arms. And in a bout of madness, just leave us a comment and rate the podcast.
Feel free to low subscribe us.
Very smooth, guys. Very smooth.
Thanks.
Top notch.
God. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye. Make all the noises.
Oh.
Okay, now. Wow. I'm glad we got all those out the way.
Gringos love that shit.